If you want 2026 to be different to any other year you've had before, then you need to get two things right. That is written goals and actionable steps. Most people will set goals at the beginning of the year, write them down, and feel as if they've already accomplished them. And then life takes over. The fix is very simple. All you need to do is turn your goals into daily actionable steps. My golden rule is that if it's not written down, then it won't happen. Not just because writing does some kind of magic to your goals, but because writing forces clarity and it creates a system. It ingrains something in your subconscious. So even if you write it down and never look at it ever again, it will be at the back of your head every single day. So this is my method. Step 1, pick 5 to 6 core areas that you want to focus on. For me, these are business, health, relationships, personal investing, religion or inner alignment, and self-development. Step 2, for each area, you want to write one main goal, the biggest outcome you want from each of these by the end of the year. Then under each of those goals, you want to write down daily, weekly, and monthly inputs that you can do in order to achieve that goal. Step 4, you want to track these inputs. You can have a really bad day, but you can still have a win if you did the input. For example, one of your goals might be to lose 5 kilograms this year. Maybe one of your daily inputs to achieve that goal is to walk 10,000 steps a day. So even if you have a cheat meal or eat something which is considered to be bad or unhealthy for you on a day, as long as you've done that 10,000 steps that you promised yourself that you would do every single day, that's still a win. You want to track the input, not just the vibes. So your goal is the destination, but your daily inputs are the steering wheel. So last year, one of my goals within my business was to hit 30K a month in revenue. The thing is, I didn't just pluck out this number out of thin air and just hope that it would happen. I didn't treat it like a wish, but more like maths. Where was I going to get my leads from? What kind of conversations was I going to have with them? How was I going to convert them? And what was my delivery going to be? So every single day, I did something which would directly relate to a sale. For example, I made a promise to myself to post a minimum of twice a day, every single day. Every single week, I would review those pieces of content to see what was working and what was not. When it came to my health, one of my goals has always been to lose weight every single year, but I never knew how much weight I wanted to lose. And every time I lost the weight that I wanted, I didn't like how skinny I looked. So rather than doing the new year, new diet thing, I made it an intention for myself to eat more whole foods. It was going to be impossible for me to cut out the junk and the snacks that I've been eating my whole life. And rather than being super restrictive and falling into unhealthy eating habits, I just started to incorporate whole foods more so that it didn't feel too extreme. So every single day last year, I made sure that I took a wellness shot. So every single week, I would buy fresh fruits and fresh vegetables and juice them and put them into shot glasses for both me and my husband and put them away in the fridge, and we would have one every single day. My goal has never been perfection, but more sustainability when it comes to my health. When it comes to relationships, this one was a really big one for me. One of my main goals was to spend more one-to-one time with my husband, because my husband and I, we run a business together. And often it's very easy for the lines to become very blurred between work and personal relationships. So I made it a rule that one day in the week we would spend together, and we made sure that it had nothing to do with work. Unless there was an employee that needed to contact us, that is the only time we would speak about work. After the phone call had finished, we would go straight back into our own little world. When it came to personal wealth and investments, I realized that I actually needed more awareness rather than some kind of fancy investment strategy. So I started tracking my bank accounts more regularly. I was checking where money was going out, where it was coming in from. and deciding where I wanted it to go instead. I also set aside money for myself to spend every single month so that I could spend it without feeling guilty. Often there were times where I felt like I was spending money on myself, and I think it's great to spend money on yourself. But sometimes I would feel guilty for doing that. So once I set aside a budget that I could spend on myself every single month, then I didn't feel guilty anymore. By assessing my finances on an ongoing basis, I was able to increase or decrease that budget whenever I needed to. Buying back time was also super important for me to do last year. Things like cleaning or help with meal prep were things that I invested in just so that I could buy back my time and use that time to work on my business or just for some mental clarity. Not because I'm too good for it, but I think it's important to realize where you're spending your time and whether it's worth it, especially as a business owner. When it came to religion, I just wanted to make sure that I was connecting with God on a daily basis, whether you're religious or not. I think it's really important to take a break from the world. It's important to connect with something outside of yourself on a daily basis. That can be a short prayer, it can be reflection, or listening to a lecture whilst you're driving. If you're somebody who's not used to connecting with God or someone who's not really used to connecting with anything, then taking these small steps, just maybe 5 minutes out of your day, can be really helpful and a great starting point. When it comes to self-development, I needed to start getting comfortable with doing things alone. One of my biggest goals was to actually go traveling solo, but it never actually happened, unfortunately. Maybe I can do something this year, but I did move across the country and I did travel alone back home a few times. So it's a small win, I guess. I think, being married to my business partner has made me, I wouldn't say super attached to him, but I just feel like we are now the same person. He's just like my arm or my leg. I don't even see him as a separate being. So just doing things without him is something that I needed to get used to. So I did take a few trips without him. They were not out of the country, but they were across the country and away from him. This whole structure I've mentioned is definitely something I'm going to carry forward this year because it worked so well for me last year. Goal setting doesn't have to be super hard. As long as you put in your daily inputs, you will get there.